Boys and girls, what an amazing episode we've got today.
Ayo.
Incredible. Ayo, me and Connor are back, this time joined for the first time by friend of the show, Vinny. Woo! Incredible.
Pleasure to be here.
That's last
It's a real
orders.
pleasure.
Amazing. Great to have you here. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, Vinny?
Go on, Vinny, spill.
Can do. What do you want to know, guys? I feel like you know everything.
Well, yes, that's a good point. We need to brush up on our podcasting technique. Tell us, I don't know, what's your basic history? You know, like the first time you go to school and they're like, who are you, Vinny?
Who are you?
You just gotta, who are you?
Okay. Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
So I'm Vinny. I am from England. I started listening to your podcast. Can't even remember when.
Cute.
Back when. Probably on like series 1 or 2. And now I'm still here.
What a long road it's been.
A pleasure to be pals with you two.
Thank you.
But yeah, I do music on the side, so go stream on Spotify and stuff if you're listening. And that's it. Oh, I do a podcast as well, but yeah.
Do you want to plug your podcast and your music? Where can we find it? I'll link it all.
So the podcast can be found on all major podcast listening sites. It's called It's on Random. It's a cult classic film podcast where we just watch a cult classic each week and talk about it and decide if it's good or if we like it. We're on a hiatus at the moment. We are coming back for another season. Life is just a bit hectic.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And the music is all under last orders on every major streaming site or like digital store if you want to buy it. So yeah, song's called Candy Floss.
Candy Floss is amazing, by the way. I definitely jammed out to that a good amount.
It's really
a great
good.
song.
Thank you.
It's really
Thank
good.
you.
Loving
Are you
it.
planning on doing any more soon? Like, you got like an album plan or anything, or like a LP or something?
I'm hoping to get another single out very soon. And then I want to get sort of one more single out by the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
That's my goal. 3 singles. And then maybe next year, maybe go on to an EP or something like that.
Awesome.
But we'll see. We'll see. Let's just focus on the next single.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it's like...
That sounds sick.
I wouldn't have like the first... I love music. Where I'm like... I used to play instruments all the time in like high school and stuff. But I still would like not have the faintest idea how to make anything like a song. Like, so that always blows me away. I wish I did, but like... It's complicated now. I couldn't do that. I really couldn't.
Yeah.
It is really complicated. Like, to be honest, I don't really know what I'm doing. But I'm just sort of... I'm winging it. It. And luckily I'm friends with a very talented producer who helps me out a lot.
Yeah.
So he's really the magic maker there.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like it's the same with like all of these kind of arts things. Like, it's such a collaborative process that you all just kind of like build off of each other. Like with a lot of the film stuff I do, my DP Dan that I work with quite often, he's like he brings like story ideas to the table and stuff like that, which sometimes I'm like, I feel like I should know, like his idea was so much better than what my original idea was. But you just, I don't know, you just kind of look past it and just see it as like a building block, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think it's always useful to just have someone else around, even if they're not doing what you want to do. Like, even with music, I can just have a friend and be like, is this good? And I mean, most of the time they will say yes, but of the off chance that they say no, I'm like, okay, I need to do something different.
Yeah.
It's always useful to have another pair of eyes or ears.
I need to learn that, I think. I like really struggle to... I feel like I almost shake when I like give someone an idea, like on like if I've written something down, I'm like, this is what I come up with. Like, I need to learn to be better at that, especially with this like big project I'm going to be doing. I've been working on for a while. I'm like kind of working closely with my best mate Dan, and like he's like my best mate, but I still struggle to like go up to him and be like, I've got this idea, this is what I've written so far, and it's kind of like
it's scary because
to hear
like
it, you know,
with a script or with like writing a song, just any form of writing, I feel like it's like when you give it to someone, it's like giving up a part of you.
Yeah,
because it's always got a bit of you in it.
Yeah,
so
it's very personal. It's a very personal thing.
Yeah.
Especially like I can only talk from the songwriting perspective, but when you write a song, it's usually, for me anyway, like it's from the heart. And then you're playing it to someone or even to like a crowd, and you just want to hope that they get it.
Yeah.
Because if they don't, then you've exposed a piece of yourself and no one understands it. And that can be really terrifying. But it always tends to pay off, and then it feels really good.
When you are performing live, do you perform songs that you're working on, or do you just play like your single and then like a couple of covers? Or like what do you do?
So I will primarily play my originals. So I'll do my single acoustically at the moment.
Yeah.
And then I'll play like a bunch of other songs that I've written. Some songs that I wrote sort of years ago. And I still like playing them.
Yeah.
Like they're like demos are on SoundCloud and stuff. They're so old, but
That's so cool though.
I still think they're good enough to play.
Yeah.
And then I'll play stuff that I've written recently, and I'm trying to gauge if I should release it, like what should be a single, what shouldn't. So it's all like, it's sort of just like giving it to a focus group really and seeing what they think.
Yeah.
The beauty of a gig.
How would you describe your type of music?
I don't know. I feel like every song I write is different. My profile on the BBC introducing page, you have to sort of write about you and your music and everything. And I compared mine to a bowling alley, my music.
Yeah.
Because I said, like, every aspect is different. You can have, like, the bright neon lights of the arcade, but then you can have the dark, like, corner where, like, the bar is and everything like that. Like, it's just, every song is different to the last.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. That was like...
That's my little...
That was a nice little flex in there as well, that you're on the BBC music
That's pretty
page.
awesome, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I was played on the radio.
That's so
just
cool, though.
saying.
Awesome. That's so cool.
That must be a really great moment.
It was a nice feeling.
Yeah.
It was good. They didn't let me know when they were gonna play it, so I was like, I think I had been at work or something, or I can't remember. I think I had been at work, and then I was just chilling at home because I was shattered. It was like a Saturday night, and then I got an email at like 11 o'clock saying your song was played on the radio,
That's
and I was
so
like,
cool.
what?
And you can go on like the catch-up things, can't you? You can go on like,
Yeah.
so you saw it on there. That must be an amazing feeling.
Yeah.
That's really
That's
awesome. That's so cool.
It was nice because it was like, it's the first single, and even now I don't think it's good enough to have out. So the fact that it was playing on the radio,
I feel like
thought,
everyone...
maybe it is good enough.
Yeah, I feel like that's everyone's like, who's like a creator's kind of thing, where it's like, this is just not good enough. And it's such a horrible thing, but
Yeah.
you just got to appreciate it for what it is. Here's me saying it, who does it to himself, but like, I don't know, I feel like it takes time to look back on a project and be like, that was actually really good. But that takes time when you release it at first. I'm always like, whenever I release something, I'm like, this is like garbage. Like, I don't like it. But then I can look back in a couple of months and be like, actually, that was really good. And I think you just got to respect the process and put it out there and learn from it. And the most important thing is that you actually did put it out there, because some people like myself can just like procrastinate on an idea for so long and not do it. And it's like, in that time, you could have put something out and learned from it in that time, even if it isn't perfect, you know what I mean? But
Yeah, definitely.
I commend you. I think
It's
that's
crazy
awesome.
though as well, like even sort of the greats that are like great still do that kind of shit. Like I was talking today on Twitter about how I just watched Shawshank Redemption for the first time.
Love
The
it.
cinematographer of that, Roger Deakins, I was listening to him coincidentally on a podcast today as well, where he was saying like he sat down and he watched it for the first time ever in like years since it came out in 1994, and he was like, you know what, it's actually all right. But it took him that good like 25 years to actually sit back and be able to watch it properly.
It's the same with Steven Spielberg and Hook, which I'm still waiting for you to watch.
It's not streaming anywhere in Australia, so I can't
Get the
watch
Blu-ray,
it.
bro. It's been like $10.
Not good enough. But because there's a film podcast that I like listening to with Mark Commode, who's a film critic, and he was talking about it on there, and someone said to Steven Spielberg once that Hook is like her favourite film, and she loves it, and he was like, oh, like at least one of us does. Like he hates it,
Yeah.
Wow.
and ever since he made it, he can't watch it, and I just don't understand why, because like I can watch it and get filled with all this nostalgia and all this love, but for him it's just awful, and he's just not happy with it.
Yeah. No, that's
And it's
fair.
just so odd
It's all
because it's
people
such a
like
good
that.
film.
I swear, like, you
I'm
hear
excited
these,
to watch
like,
it.
You hear like musicians and stuff who like I'm a big fan of Macklemore. I listened to him on a podcast a couple weeks ago, and he was like, I only listened to my second album for the first time in like 2-3 years, like a couple weeks ago. Like, and this is like, you listen to it all the time, and you're like, you have a connection to the album, and you hear the artist singing it, and you're like, oh, they must listen to this all the time. Like, they must have a good connection with the album too. But it's like, they don't even like,
Yeah.
they just can't. And he said the same thing. He was like, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. But I'm like, I have a huge amount of nostalgia for it. It's kind of funny how artists, like, you know all their songs, but half of them probably don't even know their songs. Like,
I feel like it must be even worse for musicians, because with film, like I just like work on a project, put it out. There's like a bit of talk for a little bit, and then. But with like musicians, you guys have to play the song for like months, years.
Yeah, you must
afterwards.
get so sick
And so
of
if
it
you
as
start to
well.
hate it, then that'll be really tough.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment where I am in my career, I've not had that. There are songs that like I won't play anymore. I mean, even in, like when I write songs, there's probably like so many songs that I've just disregarded because I'm like, no. But there's so much potential there, or so many tracks that I could release, but I'm like, no. Like, you just throw it away. But I can't imagine like being at like Rolling Stones caliber of artist, and just having to play the same songs every tour you go on, because they don't play anything new.
Playing a
they
song
just
you
play
wrote
the
30
same
years ago. Like,
Yeah, that's why they're all there.
Even more.
Yeah, that's why everyone rocks up
Just
to
play
go see them sing
play
that.
the same. Yeah, but it would just be the same set list every night for years.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine that. I don't know how I'd feel about that.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be easy, you know the songs,
Yeah.
but
It's
it just
crazy.
it can't be fun after a while.
I know. It's like, I feel bad because like I've seen Queen both the times they've come to Australia recently. And there's so many songs in it where I'm like, if they don't play that song, then I'll be mad.
Yeah.
But like for them, they must hate that, you know?
Uh-huh.
The fans like hearing the hits. I mean, I can talk from that. I like going to see an artist because I want to hear the songs I like.
Yeah, true.
I always like when an artist plays something that like you wouldn't expect them to. That's why. But I feel like you have to be like a really big fan of the artist to know that they played like this hit. But like, well, not even like a hit. I mean like something that like, you know, you wouldn't really expect them to play. But I like that stuff. But then again, it's like, it's not really a necessarily a crowd pleaser in a way, because there's going to be a lot of like, especially for like an older artist, there could be like some newer people in the crowd who only listened to their like last couple of albums and wouldn't really know the first few and stuff. And I've had that quite a few times when like I've seen some like Australian artists like Hilltop Hoods, for example, like they played a couple of tracks from their first 2 albums, and then like you can kind of notice a shift in the crowd. There's only a couple of people who know the lyrics with you, and then like the younger kind of people, I mean, I know all their songs, but like the younger kind of people don't. It's interesting. Like, I feel like you can feel that shift in energy in the crowd when like that happens. But yeah, I couldn't do it, so I think I commend you for doing it.
Totally.
Yeah.
Thanks.
No worries.
Shall we move on to the Docky Who part of the show?
Sure.
Yeah, defo.
Yeah,
I watched
boy.
it last night.
Good.
Yeah. This is Is it one of your favorite episodes, or is it just sort of the only one?
Which is not the
rules.
Kind of
like this season?
It's one of 2 I like in series 6.
What's the other one?
Maybe 3. Let's Kill Hitler I like.
Oh god. Oh no. We're off to a shit start already.
Oh lord.
How dare you? Is the Doctor's wife in this season?
Yes.
Yeah, it's earlier on.
Early on, yeah.
That's it.
Episode
obviously. 4. I like that one.
Yeah.
I've not watched series 6 in its entirety since it aired.
Okay.
And I still haven't. And I was rewatching the show with my best mate.
That's right. Because
she'd not seen any of Matt. Or she'd seen like very few of Matt. And we got to about halfway through series 5 and we just haven't watched any in months. And I think that's just me just dreading getting to series 6 because I don't know how I'm going to get through it.
It's such a mess.
Have you watched? Are you caught up on the show, or have you stopped watching?
Doctor Who.
Yeah.
I'm not caught up.
Okay.
Gasp! What did you last watch?
Yeah, what did you last watch?
The last episode I saw was I watched the New Year's special.
Okay.
When Jack came back.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the last one.
And no, but
yeah, I hadn't watched.
I've been
anything
like
in between.
chaotic.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I've seen Jodie's first episode, and then before that, I think I haven't seen anything since.
Wow.
Clara and Pete.
Wow.
What? So you haven't even watched series 10?
Wow.
I've not seen Bill's season.
Wow. Interesting.
Vinny, you're causing me pain.
I know, I call myself a fan.
That's okay. Yeah, not everyone is like, devoted, and that's okay. Like, you don't have to watch everything. Do you see yourself watching it all?
He's devoted to the David Tennant era.
Yes, exactly.
The Tennant era is my life.
Yeah, that.
No. I do want to catch up on it. I especially want to watch Capaldi's last season.
Yeah.
Because a fucking legend. I mean, I'm watching the thick of it at the moment with one of my friends, and that's making me definitely want to watch his last season.
Yeah.
Because I even think, what season is it where everything is 2-parters?
That's
season 9
with Pete.
Yeah.
Even that I've not seen all the way through.
Yeah.
Because I hated that everything was a 2-parter.
Yeah,
so I just stopped.
Yeah.
I love it.
I just felt like the stories were dragging for me, so I just stopped and I was like, this series 8 got me back into Doctor Who after a long time.
Okay.
Watching that, I was like a kid again. And like I look forward to every week watching like the next time, waiting, texting my friends through it. I was literally like an 8-year-old again.
Yeah.
And then series 9, I was like, no, it's gone, done with this. And yeah, I want to catch up on it. I want to watch all of Jodie's run because I feel like I've not given her a chance.
I was going to say, what do you think of Jodie's Doctor? Do you like her?
Yeah, I don't mind her. I just don't feel like I've watched enough to gauge a respectable opinion.
You might feel that way after you've seen the 2 seasons as well. To be fair, that's how we all feel.
And it's probably really not like welcoming to watch after just reading like everything on Twitter and stuff.
Yeah.
It's in a
definitely
weird place.
And I think the whole Spyfall Master thing, I remember it being on telly and I switched it over and I just saw that and I was like, oh, okay, he's back. But that was like the big reveal and I spoiled it for myself. So I want to catch up so I can watch the latest run like as it airs so I don't get spoiled.
Yeah.
Because once I've been spoiled by something, I just find I'm really reluctant to watch it.
Yeah.
Just because I know it's going to happen. So yeah.
I saw.
After Matt, I became very sporadic with watching it.
It sounds crazy.
Wow.
It's not good. Yeah.
It's a good.
Sorry,
it's a
guys.
good different. It's nice to have someone on who has like a different perspective of the show, because we always have people on who are like die-hard fans and like are all caught up. I think it's cool to have
season 8,
else
episode
on.
10. In this particular scene, someone says this exact moment. And
yeah,
and,
literally,
like,
that's
that.
literally
like,
the people that we have on with peace and love.
See,
yeah.
You know.
if you had, if I was on in a David episode, that is
True,
what I would be
true.
like.
Hey, you're like
or
when
even
I
a
was
Chris
reading-
episode.
Apparently in someone in the Radio Times or something was saying that David's in talks of being in this 100-year BBC special.
I
They're
saw
I
doing-
did see that as well.
Interesting.
Oh, come on, that rumor
Who knows?
goes
Like,
around
that
like
happens
wildfire
every
time.
year. There's a rumor about
Yeah,
it.
there's always something about David coming back.
But yeah.
What are your thoughts in it though? Do you want him to come back?
Hell yeah.
I don't know.
Give me some more
I don't
David.
know.
Aidan does not.
Why not?
I don't know. I
Aidan?
just
Why
think
not?
it's such a
Why
it's
not?
just such a mess. Like doing it the year before the 60th, and
I know.
then
Yeah.
like, I don't know. It's bizarre to me.
I remember seeing there was like an interview with him, and someone asked him like, are you going to be in the 60th? And he said, I'm not against the idea. He was like, if I get asked, then he was like, I'd love to appear in it. But he did say if he's in the 60th, that'll probably be the last time he plays the Doctor.
Yeah.
Because he said he thinks that's the last time he'll get away with it.
I
Totally.
agree though. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
One more time.
So he said, like, if he does it, then that'll be it for him. Like, because 70th, he's not gonna look the same.
No.
It's weird
and
though,
I
'cause,
feel like as well, there's an opportunity with the 60th, or even with this 100-year special, that like it can just be the bookend of our childhood. Like just bring back David,
Yeah.
Pete, Matt,
Yeah.
Chris if he's keen.
But
and
Pete
obviously
doesn't
Jodie will
even.
be
You hear
there.
Pete doesn't want to come back, and even Matt seemed hesitant. Like
Yeah,
Pete said
I
he
don't know.
doesn't. Maybe that's just a cover up, but like Pete said like recently in an interview like a couple of weeks ago that he was happy with his tenure and his run, and that he just wouldn't really be keen on coming back. That
That's upsetting.
that's very upsetting. That's the one person I do want to see come back. Like because we've obviously
I
had
don't
David
think-
back, you know, once.
I don't see Matt coming back either. I feel like Matt.
He seemed hesitant, yeah.
I had a conversation with someone, and it's like every person that's played the Doctor has been keen to play the Doctor, and has like seen the show before, apart from Matt. And Matt just got the role that he was like, oh, I should probably like
Yeah.
Watch it.
look into this show.
Yeah.
So I think like even I remember him being on Graham Norton on the 50th, and obviously it was like they were all joking around, and they asked David, they were like, how come you came back? They were like, Matt, you are contractually like obliged to appear in it. But I feel like because he's not the Doctor anymore, he won't really
It doesn't help.
just be like, oh, well.
The only other example that I can think of someone that wasn't a Who fan that became the Doctor is Chris Eccleston, and he's not come back. So
Yeah.
took him like 15 years to do Big Finish. So
It's weird though, because like they're all doing stuff, and I feel like it would definitely be inconvenient for them to come back. The pay wouldn't be great. Like they'd have to miss out on maybe a few projects to do it. Like
Yeah.
it's just it's. I was actually for some reason talking to my friend Mitchell about it. Who's not even a Doctor Who fan, but I was like, you need to understand. Like they would go out of their way to do it. The BBC wouldn't be able to pay them. They have to underpay them, and it's like, you know, that could make them miss out on an action job. I know Matt's filming the Game of Thrones spin-off right now. Like he's doing a show for HBO.
Yeah.
Like David's doing heaps of stuff. Peter was just in the Suicide Squad. Like they're all doing some big stuff, and it's like it would be inconvenient for them to come back, I think. But one more time, please. Like, can you just give me that?
Yeah.
Like, can we just see that
Just
just
for
one
us.
time? It'd be really cool.
I think I would, I mean, it's so unlikely,
Yeah,
but if, 9, like, Chris through to Jodie
That'd be awesome.
on screen. I can't even picture it
Yeah.
because it's just, my brain's like, it's not going to happen.
I know.
But-
It's the worst part about it. Ugh.
If it did, I don't know, like, I don't even know what my reaction would be.
Yeah.
Just because, like, I mean, I'd kill to just see Chris and David, like, interact together.
God,
Because they're
yeah.
so different.
Yes, be so good.
So, to see them all interact with each other. Like, Matt, I'm not so fussed about. We've had enough of him. It's fine. Like,
Whoa, controversial. We've had enough of it.
nah, it's just,
Get him out.
I think he'd be, I don't know. He's done the multi-doctor special. He doesn't have to come back.
David's already done the multi. He's been the one that's come back.
No. He could come back.
So
I think that'll be the if they do that. I think that'll be the closest we'll get to like rivaling the Force Awakens in terms of hype.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What were you saying, Connor?
Sorry, the internet's fucking. We were talking over chat. All I said was, do you not like Matt's Doctor then? But I agree with what Aidan said. I don't know if you heard what he said, but he said like it would be like Force Awakens hype for that special. Sorry, the internet can be a bit funny sometimes, folks. We're recording this through Zoom, as per usual.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I think Matt is my least favourite of the modern Doctors.
Mm-hmm.
That's not taken in Jodie, though, because I've not seen enough of her.
Mm-hmm.
So out of the blokes, Matt's my least favourite.
Boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We love it.
Yeah.
We love it.
But my best mate, David's his least favourite.
Wow.
Out of all the modern,
You don't hear that much.
modern guys.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think Chris is his favourite.
Yeah.
And then I think it's Matt, then Pete, then David.
Wow.
He just doesn't. I don't know why I'm friends with him.
That's pretty interesting take. Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I honestly don't know how I would rank them because they all have like, I don't know. I feel like I go through mood swings, and like Pete's always at the top for me. But then sometimes I'm watching them and I'm like, I hate like David. Sometimes will do an episode and I'm like, he's such a sook. Like, just stop having a cry for once and just get on with the episode. And it like makes me angry. But then like sometimes Matt is just stood there going like, ooh, cool shit. And I'm like, calm down, mate. Calm down.
I feel like that's what he did a lot in this episode.
Yes.
A lot of that.
We've been talking
this
about that
season
quite
in particular,
a bit, actually.
I think, as well.
That's a lot of his dialogue at the moment. Is a lot of like hands flying around everywhere, talking a load of gibberish, and it's just starting to piss me off a little bit. Just a little bit. Starting to get to me just a little bit. I just can't deal with it.
I feel like I'm picking up that everyone in this Zoom meeting has a similar view to mine on Series 6, which is nice.
Yeah, you're not alone there.
That season.
You're not alone there.
I hate it so much.
It's really bad. It's so fucking messy.
It is. It's messy and it's inconsistent, and I just don't like it. Like at all. And I especially don't like the opener.
Wait, really? You don't like what the Impossible Astronaut
don't
stuff?
Like it.
But you like Let's Kill Hitler. You have a problem.
Oh my god!
It's
what? What?
I've not seen it since it aired though.
Oh yeah, you said
maybe
that.
I'll go rewatch it.
I remember when you chucked in a review, and I was like, "The fuck? That's crazy."
Yeah.
But yeah, fair enough. Everyone's view matters.
Yeah, there
I'll
you go.
rewatch it, and next time I'm on the show, I'll.
You give us a bit of an update.
Good.
Yeah. 50% podcast.
So yeah, the episode we are talking about this week, even though we're already like 30 minutes, it's been a fun 30 minutes. It's been a fun chat.
Sorry guys.
It's great. I love doing it when we have new people on and we get to talk random stuff.
That's what the 50% is for.
That's right. Me and Connor don't know how to stay on topic to save our life. Closing time. That's the episode we're doing today. It is the 12th and penultimate episode of the 6th series of the British science fiction television program Doctor Who. And was first broadcast on BBC One on the 24th of September 2011. It was written by Gareth Roberts and directed by Steve Hughes. In the episode, alien time traveler the Doctor, Matt Smith, is going on a farewell tour before his impending death, and visits his friend Craig Owens, James Corden, in present-day Colchester. Is that right, Vinny? Is that how you say it? Colchester?
It is Colchester.
Cool. Who has a new baby son,
fact
Alfie.
checker here.
That's right. Though not initially intending to stay, the Doctor becomes intrigued by a Cyberman invasion at a local department store. What a baffling description to start off with.
Can we all just
About
agree?
chaotic as the episode.
Yeah, can we all just agree this is the worst New Who Cybermen story?
It's
It
shit.
just-
I did write that down.
It's just so bad. It's like, I know Nightmare in Silver isn't that great, but at least that's a bit fun. And there haven't been very good ones even after this, but it's still not this bad. Christ,
It's
why?
just like it just doesn't feel like threatening at all, and the Cybermen is just like It's just a thing, and they try to do that weird jump scare thing where it gets closer to the camera when the lights flicker, and it's just like,
oh god,
it's so weird.
So the Cybermen for me were the villain that absolutely terrified me as a child. Like Daleks did not bother me,
right?
But the two-part parallel world Cyberman story in series 2, like literally gave me nightmares, like absolutely terrifying. And watching this last night, I was like, this just ruins the Cybermen because they're not threatening at all. Like in that two-parter, which I feel like, if I recall correctly, you guys didn't rate that high.
No,
I don't.
That's like one of my
so.
favourite two-parters.
I think I kind of liked it, but yeah.
Like I've always liked those episodes, and watching this, I'm just like, this just is so bad.
Yeah.
Connor gave it an 8.5 and I gave it a 6.5. So Connor liked it quite a bit.
I liked it. Yeah, I've always kind of liked it. Yeah, I didn't like it as much on rewatch, but I still thought it was fun. I've always liked it a lot.
Yeah. No, I was going to say something. Oh yeah. I should have started with this. It's like the number one thing I ask whenever we have a new guest on, Vinny.
Mm-hmm.
What got you into Doctor Who in the first place? How did it all start?
Oh, okay. Good question.
Was it just you just saw David Tennant one day and you were like, I'm gonna
Probably.
check it out?
Well, the first episode I watched was the David Tennant episode.
Nice.
And I remember, so me getting into Who is about chaotic as I am now with Who. So the first episode I watched was New Earth.
Okay.
And I got halfway through it and I was petrified by the disease people.
Scary.
Couldn't watch the rest of it.
Fair.
And then I had nightmares for like 2 weeks. And I kept waking up in the night because I thought I was going to get like diseased. So I never watched another one until I saw bits of the Runaway Bride. Not good for a child who's terrified of spiders. and then I watched Smith and Jones, and again, like, I think because I could remember me being so terrified of the show like a year before, I was quite wary of it still. And then it was sort of between series 3 and series 4, like before series 4 had started airing. That's when I got into it. So I must have gotten into it around the year like 2007 must have been when I got into it, because then I remember getting a TARDIS playset for Christmas.
Nice.
And playing with it whilst watching The Voyage of the Damned.
That's so sweet.
And like, yeah, so I don't know what like switched from me being terrified of it to me adoring it, but yeah, that's how I remember liking it. And then when series 4 was on, I remember watching it, and it was nice. Fair. And like when Tennant was Doctor in particular, like all of my family watched it, and I remember watching his final episode, and we all sat in the lounge and watched it together and cried, and then that's the last time my family watched Doctor Who with me.
It's so funny because I remember watching that one with my family. Like, my family have... my mum stuck with it until, I think, the start of Pete. And then my dad, he's always a season behind because he waits for it to come onto, like, Netflix. And then he watches the new season. So he's just starting season 12 now. But, like, I remember watching The End of Time with my mum and dad. And it just ended. And then we all just kind of looked at each other and were like, that was a bit shit, wasn't it?
Oh god.
I am a sucker for fan service, which is why a controversial opinion of mine is that I don't think The Rise of Skywalker is that bad.
Oh no.
I like fan service. So in End of Time, when when they bring out all the companions back, that is
awesome,
just,
though, yeah.
I'm a sucker for that, and they do it in Rise of Skywalker, and I'm a sucker for it.
I love it too, but like Rise of Skywalker is just it's just a mess. It's
like Stephen Moffat write it? It's just so chaotic.
Okay, we're gonna do a special episode on the Rise of Skywalker just because
So we can hear
I can't start talking about it right now because I'll just go on for fucking hours.
That's fine.
Can I
That's fine.
Can I ask the second question we always ask guests is why you picked this episode?
True.
Okay.
You sound like you don't really like it. So what's your thoughts on that?
I remember you guys putting out like, what Series 6 episode do you want to be on? And I just don't like Series 6. So this is one that I don't mind watching.
Okay.
Like I said, like I've not seen Series 6 since it aired, since like I watched it on telly. And yeah, there's I mean, even The Doctor's Wife I've not rewatched since it aired.
Wow.
So the 2 episodes I've rewatched is Let's Kill Hitler, and purely for the fact that I just find it funny.
It is pretty funny.
Closing Time, because I prefer this episode to The Lodger.
Okay.
Which is controversial, I think.
You're a James Corden fan then?
I don't mind him. I was curious of if he was in Doctor Who before the world decided they hated him. Because now everyone seems to hate him.
Yeah.
He was. I was going to say about the whole TARDIS playset. I remember when I first went back to the UK, like 8 years after I moved to Australia or something, I saw one of the TARDIS playsets and I was like, fuck, I want that. So my parents, I think they ordered it or something, and it was going to be like a Christmas present, but so they bought it there and then we had to take it back to Australia. And I don't know if it was just the one that we bought or something, but the box was literally like humongous.
It was huge.
Like, it was ridiculously big. And we were like taking it through customs, and like I think they thought that there was a bomb. Like the amount of times we got stopped because of this fucking massive box. And then I've genuinely never used it. It's been sat in my garage for like 15 years. Like,
wow,
it's so bad. Yeah,
I don't even know what happened to mine. It used to be great though. Like it used to light up. And
yeah, it was so cool.
Yeah.
I used to make the noise, the humming
really
noise.
good.
Yeah.
And you could like lift up like some the grating on the floor. Yeah.
It was so good. Press little
that's
buttons.
about as far as I used mine. I just was like, oh, cool lights and sounds, and then I never played with it.
It was an awesome thing to get. I loved mine, and now it's in like 1,000 pieces in like some box somewhere. I've still got it somewhere, but I don't know where. But I remember being
sounds like
so
you're just talking about the actual set.
No, thrown away.
All right, Connor, do you want to take us through Closing Time?
Of course, it'd be my absolute pleasure.
Let's do
I
it.
hope I remember it because I watched it a bit drunk with Dan after the pub on Friday night. So let's see how good I am at this. This is how good I am at. This is how good I am at remembering episodes of Doctor Who. Like, thank God it's my favorite show because sometimes I can just remember what happens and like. Anyway, okay.
It's also my favourite show, and I've not seen half of it, so...
Yeah, fair enough. That could be my excuse now when I forget. I'm like, Aidan, what happens next? I totally forgot. Right.
It's so bizarre, though, because, like, even on episodes that, like, I hate, or that I've only seen a couple of times, I think, with the exception of Doctor Mysterio, I think I could just recite what happens for, like, the entirety of seasons 1 to 10, and I don't know why.
Pretty much.
Like,
same.
It's so weird.
Can't relate.
Alright. We start in a shop, which I think, one of the things I can give this episode, I think the whole shop setting is pretty fun. It's a bit unique.
Yeah.
I like that. I like shops. I like shopping. And it's like, alright, we're going to close up for the night. And then they're like, I'll do it for you, don't worry. You go home and watch fucking Top Model, as there's so many Top Model jokes in this episode for some reason. And it's like, okay. And then like goes into the changing room, and we get to see the shape of a Cyberman. Oh no! And a good old scream. It's very cliched, but it is what it is. One thing I didn't like is what's the name? It's not Lucy. It's what's his wife's name?
What is it?
It's not Lucy. I keep calling her Lucy to Daniel. It's Sophie.
It is
Sophie. Yeah. Why they just like ship her off? They're like, okay, I'm going away with the girls for the weekend, and it's like, why not just have her character be there? Like, that
I think
sounded
Gareth
more
Roberts just
fun.
wanted to write just a lads episode.
I
Boys.
literally said that to Dan. I was like, it's so classic that he gets rid of a female companion for the episode and just sends her off. It's so weird.
Mm-hmm.
But wasn't a fan of
Did
that.
you not think the department store aspect, for me, it reminded me of Rose, the episode?
Yeah.
True, yeah.
I definitely thought that as well. I like that kind of thing. Like, and I wondered why they didn't.
But that's...
Yeah, I wonder why they hadn't done something like that before. And like...
Yeah.
As a kid, whenever I used to play Doctor Who in my head, I would always, like, whenever I would go to the shops, I would always, like, play in the, like, shops and the aisles and stuff, like Doctor Who and stuff. So it was a bit nostalgic for me, because I was like, that's kind of how I used to, like, see Doctor Who episodes in my own head and stuff. So yeah, I like that aspect. It's cool to see.
I liked the shop aspect.
It's cool to see Craig back again, I guess. It's like it's so weird that he's in this one and never shows up again, and now he's got like a kid and stuff.
It's nice that he comes back, but it's also completely unnecessary for him to come back.
It's so bizarre that it's like it's the Doctor's last hurrah. It's his like goodbye tour, and the person he saves last is his good friend's. I can't talk. His good friend Craig, who he met once. Like it's so bad. Like
it's odd.
Go see Martha. You know, like
I know it's weird.
I think that's the. There's not a lot of characters in the Moffat era that are able to come back or like you actually want to see again. Like, I don't know. I'm a bit of a hater, but he doesn't write many characters that you want to see again or are able to see again.
But even like because he set up Vesta and Jenny and Strax to be like returning people, which they do. But like he could have used them or something, like because it's established in A Good Man Goes to War that they have, a good friendship or whatever,
history and stuff.
Yeah. Whereas where was Craig in A Good Man Goes to War? You know, in the Doctor's darkest hour, where was Craig?
I know it's odd. It's kind of strange. Like, and he rocks up and he's like, "Oh, good to see you," and then he's like, "Goodbye," and it's like, why would you rock up just to say goodbye? It's just like stupid dialogue. It's unrealistic. And then, like, he notices something different about the house, and then he runs upstairs, and Craig's got a baby. And I hate this. I like babies; they're cute, cool. But I hate this baby in this episode. The jokes about speaking baby is so overdone. I can't stand it. I can't stand it.
Yeah.
It's so.
What
bad,
do you think of the whole shh thing that he does?
No.
I don't like the whole Stormageddon.
Oh, I hate that's the next thing I was gonna say. I hate that shit so much. So annoying. Oh.
Yeah. The way I like justify it in my head is it's just the Doctor trying to be funny and he's not actually talking to the baby. That's my justification. But even then, still shit.
Well, they kind of set it up with in Good Man Goes to War. He briefly speaks to a little melody pond. And I remember joking to you, Aidan, I was like, can't wait to see more of this shit joke get dragged into the ground in closing time. Oh, God, I hate it.
So bad.
It's kind of nice to see them back together then again, though. Like, those scenes were kind of bearable. Like, I'm a big Gavin and Stacey fan, so I feel so bad. I don't know if you listened to our closing time, our The Lodger review, Vinny, but I felt so terrible about how many jokes I made about James Corden last time. I was a bit drunk and I kept saying some stuff and I felt really bad. So I want to be nice to him in this episode.
Just in case
that
he
stuff
listens.
was fun. Yes, exactly. I thought their dynamic is interesting enough. It's kind of the one thing in the episode that I kind of like, I guess. I don't know.
No, I agree. I think they I got like I want to say like 20 minutes into the episode and I was like, why am I enjoying this? This is weird, like, because it's shit. Why am I enjoying it?
Yeah.
And I sat there and I was like, it's just Matt. I just think Matt was just being really funny and he had so much energy and bloody Craig bounces back off of that, and so their relationship and their humor for me is the only thing that kind of moves this episode along, and other than that there's just no substance.
It is. It's a very light-hearted, fun episode. But yeah, it's shit. It is shit.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is you watch it and you're like, even when I was watching it last night, because I've not seen it for a few years, I was watching it like, why did I want to come on this episode? Because it was like,
Vinny's having regrets.
It was just like, it's not a good episode, but it is enjoyable.
It is,
and
yeah.
I just think that's the beauty of this show, is that the shit episodes can still be fun. Like Love and Monsters, Aidan.
No. Get that shit out of here.
It is fun. It is fun.
Love and Monsters is great.
It is fun. I agree though, because I was like watching it with Dad, and I was like, I'm actually like, not in a way where I'm like, this is well written, but I'm like, I'm actually enjoying it, which is weird.
Yeah.
Like, kind of like hating to admit it. I mean, I think I really enjoyed the first half. I didn't really fuck with the last half much, but I do like all the stuff with like the Doctor going to like the shops and becoming a he worked in like the toy department. I thought that was really cute and really like Matt's Doctor and stuff. And he's like Dan made a good point. He's like, he really is like the kids' doctor. Like, he is the doctor that like really fits with the children and stuff. And the
I want to say two costume things. Is one, him without the jacket on looked kind of cool, like when he was playing with the toys. I vibed that as a look. Yeah. And the other thing, and Vinny, I know you kind of backed me with the whole I hate the big long jacket here, but this rewatch, I really liked it. And I don't know what it is.
I really like it.
What's wrong with me?
Yeah, we were chin on it.
In this episode, I thought it was okay. I actually did think that. The long jacket.
That's what I've said about every episode this season, though, where he's one. I've been like, this episode, it was okay.
I like it. It kind of fits.
I don't know. I'm not there yet.
Maybe on your rewatch, on the full show.
Yeah. I like, but it's cool. Like, it's very much like the Doctor to like get a job at the shops and like just to find out what is going on with electricity. I thought that was very much like the Doctor, which I thought was really fun, and I like how everyone really likes him instantly. Like, he's just that likable guy, but. Like, when he sends, like, Craig around to do some investigating, like, he gets, like... Classic Gareth Roberts having to make, like, a weird-ass, like a seedy kind of, like, making Craig out to be, like, kind of, like, seedy guy who goes in, like, the underwear aisle and asks someone, like...
it's weird.
What kind of... I was he that kind of alludes, like, you know, talking about women's wear or something like that, and I'm like, oh, dear. Please stop.
That was weird. I don't even know why he said that. Like,
it's weird.
It's so weird.
He's an odd writer.
Yeah. It was, I don't even know the relevance of that scene. It was just I think it was just there for the comedic effect.
Yeah. Is this when... I might be wrong, but is it when... Is it in this particular part of the episode where we get to see that quick Amy and Rory cameo, which I shout on last week, and I still don't like it?
I think
feels so unnecessary. And it's so cheesy.
I don't understand why they're in it.
Sorry?
I don't understand why they're in it.
Literally, I don't. And it's so cheesy when that little girl points, like, at the sign, and the Doctor's like, who, me? And then he turns around, and it's just Amy on this massive ass, like, billboard. Oh, God.
I wonder if they were contracted a certain amount of episodes, and so they had to make an appearance.
Maybe, actually.
I found it odd that they would be in a department store in Colchester in Essex of all the places. Like, if it was, I suppose if it was like London, it would be like sort of a bit more realistic, just because, like, you know, big department store, you might bump into someone.
Yeah.
But like why are they in Colchester? They don't live in Colchester. It makes no sense.
It was weird as well, the whole like autograph thing. Like, I know there was a big photo of Amy there, but just like, I don't know. I feel like a 5-6-year-old girl isn't gonna recognize a model and have like an autograph, right? Like a picture and pen ready to go to get an autograph. Like, just weird.
And it kind of ends there. Like, I mean, like, we get briefly in like Asylum of the Daleks, we see her doing like a photo shoot, and then like that's it. You ever hear again about her like modeling career, which I assume it is. She's like a model and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't. Again, it's a good point about being contractually contractually obliged. Sorry, I can't speak today. I think that's right though, Aidan. Contractually obliged. I think you're right. I think that's probably why they wrote it, but I still hate it.
It's so dumb. It's like even bloody Daleks are contracted to be in every season. Like, because if not, they go back to the Terry Nation. No, Terrence Dicks? Terry Nation. One of them created the Daleks in like the 60s or whatever. And then when he died, there was like an estate that was formed or something for it. And when they brought the show back, their contract was like, if they bring the Daleks back into the show, they have to come back once a season. So that's why there's always so even in series 6 when there's not a Dalek story, there's still one scene in the finale with the Dalek in it.
With a Dalek,
so
good thing Chip likes to use him every 5 seconds, so there's no issue there with him. He's like, let's bring them back again for the next special.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, Russell also did that with his writing.
Yes. At least it was good, though.
Russell
killed it with his Dalek stories. I'm saying it. He did. They were always just so good.
I agree. Apart from maybe Daleks in Manhattan.
I was going to say, God, I didn't think you liked that one that much.
That did cross my mind, but I still said what I said. I stand by my point.
With Amy and Rory appearing, it sort of reminded me of Midnight when you said the whole contractually obliged thing. Like, Midnight's mainly just like a Doctor lone story, but Donna is in it at the beginning and she's in it at the end.
Yes.
And like that could be the same reason. Like she has to be in it. But
another time where it could have just been without it. Yeah.
Yeah, because they did like they obviously filmed that and Turn Left at the same time.
Yeah.
So
no,
I can't remember if there's a Dr. Light story in this season because I haven't seen it.
It's meant to be this, I think. Oh no, sorry.
No,
Dr. Light. I think my companion Light. Yeah.
No, when I was reading it, what's it called? The Rory episode.
Is it the Girl Who Waited?
The Girl Who Waited. Yeah, that one is meant to be like Dr. Light. But because there's quite a lot of his scenes intercutting in the TARDIS, you don't really notice this. I don't know why I'm waving around scissors. Sorry. I think that's the Dr. Light episode, but it's not as Dr. Light as a lot of the other ones.
Yeah. It's weird.
So I'm just moving back in my chair. Just moving around in my chair to get a bit more comfier, but no one can tell because this is all through audio. But you guys are watching me, so I was like, I gotta tell you. Yeah, I gotta tell you. So next we get a scene where, and this is kind of cool. It's kind of like cheaply done, but they go into the lift, and then like the lights are flashing, and then like it goes to black, and then it just cuts to a sound stage, which is like a really cheap way to do it. It's like, let's just go to black, and then we can just cut to another scene. And like some reason there's like a Cyberman ship under the ground, and there's a bunch of Cybermen there who are like taking people from the shop. It's like, what the fuck? Where's this Cyber Legion been for like the last 10, 20 years? There's somehow like, was it there before
I think they said
so
they were doing some power lines or something. They did something that disturbed them and woke them up or something. I don't know. I can't remember.
It
so makes no sense. It's so bad. It is bad. Like, it's not even like a cohesive story. Like, I don't even know why they were there. They're like
Matt's really funny in that scene though.
Sorry?
Matt's funny in that scene. It's a little weird, but Matt's funny.
I thought he was weird in that scene. I think it was supposed to be funny, but I was just watching it like, this is a bit odd.
It just irks me that Gareth Roberts is sat there thinking he's like funny as fuck, making all these jokes.
Yeah.
And it's like, but I thought Matt handled it pretty well. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's weird though, because I saw it being gone.
No, you go.
I was just gonna say, like, it's weird how, like, obviously, like, Gareth has all these, like, hell shitty views on that stuff, but he writes so many jokes about it, and there's this ongoing joke throughout the episode where it's like, this store clerk thinks they're a couple, and it's like, are you, like, openly, now we know your views, are you openly mocking the idea of that? But it's, like, weirdly written where it's like, normalized. And it's like, hang on a minute, what the fuck? Like, it's really, it's just strange now you know that side of the story. I didn't like it personally, but yeah. Yeah.
No, it is. It is weird.
He's a strange man.
He is a strange man. So next they go and they're like, we're gonna save out in the shop, and they catch themselves a little cyber mat. I thought that was fun. I like Matt running around with his little like little catching thing. He's like a little stick with a little net on it. He's trying to catch a little cyber mat.
Yeah, it's
cool. Like they stayed in the shops till like everyone left and they catch one. I thought it was funny how like he picks it up and Craig's like, oh, it's kind of cute, and he goes to show Alfie it, and then like the teeth come out. That's pretty cool.
It's silly, but it's fun, I guess. Like,
aren't the cyber mats quite classic from like a classic episode or something like that, or are they the cyber?
Yeah, very early stuff. They look horrendous in the classic stuff. But
they don't look much better here.
I don't mind them. I think they're kind of cute. I don't know. I've always liked them.
But they're not supposed to be cute.
No, I know.
You could buy little like toys of them. I remember. And you could like control it with a remote control. I think it was all just like a merchandising thing. But that's
I like that scene that follows in the in Craig's house when I don't know. It's just fun, silly, and then for some reason the doctor jumps through the window.
Craig.
I did write that down. Did you guys pick up on the little canine reference?
What was it?
No.
He was in the doctor was working in the toy shop, and there was like a little robot dog toy, and he was like, "Oh, it's not as fun as I remember it."
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny.
So cute. I love Yappy.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh."
Yeah.
It was. I liked that little reference.
Yeah, there's stuff like that that's kind of like fun and cute. Like you were saying, Aidan, I did like the scene where like in the house. That's kind of fun, and I guess like it's
why
kind of
did he
slow
jump through a window?
Just throw a rock.
Oh God,
throw a rock.
Just throw a rock. Come on. And it's like I remember they kept showing that shot in the trailer because it's like a classic trailer shot, like Matt jumping through a window and doing like a helpful pose. And like, bro, surely you could just do something else. That scene's kind of cool, and it's like the scene before where he's with Alfie in the bedroom. That's kind of cute. Somehow he sonics one of Alfie's bed lights, and it becomes stars. Don't know how that happens, but is what it is.
Don't know. It looked pretty.
It looked pretty, so we'll just let it slide. We'll let it slide. Yeah, that is cool when like the cyber mat. And I like how Murray brings back the score from Russell's era.
Yeah,
that's fun.
That's good. Yeah,
good to hear it again. No, that scene with the cyber mat's fun, where it jumps on Craig and tries to annihilate him. It's just it's fun. It's not great.
It's silly fun.
But it's fun.
It's silly fun. I remembered always really liking the Confidential where they were talking about how they have like 3 different versions of the Cybermat, and one of them was just like a normal prop that they used for most of it that looked really good and was really solid, and then one was like a bit more of a plasticky that had all the animatronics in it, and then one of them was just like a bit of rubber. And so in that scene when they were all like throwing it around the room and shit like that, they were just like behind the scenes just smacking it around and shit like that. I don't know, I've not watched Confidential in years, but I have this memory of like him hitting it with a frying pan in the behind the scenes or something. Or is that in the episode?
Takes. He does a bacon tray. The bacon.
Yeah.
He's like, bake it, Craig, and it goes with the bacon tray. The side of that.
That's so dumb.
So
good scene.
I remember seeing the Confidential for this episode, and the Radio 1 DJ Greg James makes a cameo.
I was reading that in the behind the scenes.
Yeah. And whenever I watch this episode, I always remember that. I always remember seeing him on Confidential. He's just shopping in the background in the woman's wear for some reason. But he's like one of the most popular Radio 1 DJs, and he's just he doesn't even say a word. He's just in the background.
That's awesome.
And it's just so bizarre. But that's always what I remember from Confidential.
Yeah. Oh, the days.
It's weird the bits you retain.
I know, it's so dumb. And I think like subconsciously, I think Confidential is like for me, and I think a lot of people, is what got me into film, just seeing all the behind the scenes stuff. And like, because I see so many, like every Doctor Who person on Twitter, 90% are like doing film as well, and so I just feel so ununique in that way. And then but and I think a lot of it does come down to just how transparent they were about all the behind the scenes stuff back in the day. It was always cool to see.
I remember finding it so interesting as a kid, and like even now there's still bits I remember like seeing, and I'm gutted that they got rid of it.
Yeah, I was going to say,
so
this is the second last Confidential, because the last one was Red and River Song. Weird how they just stopped doing it, and they started doing all those weird YouTube 5-minute clips where it's like behind the scenes kind of.
I really wish that they'd done a proper full-length Confidential for the 50th.
Yeah. Weird that there was never a proper behind the scenes.
10-minute. No, there was like a 10-minute YouTube video, and that was it.
That's so
and there's so much in the 50th that I would have loved to have like seen in more detail, because I loved that they would talk to the cast and talk to the crew in Confidential as well, and that just would have been so good if they did it for the 50th.
Yeah.
Good old BBC cutting costs.
Classic Beeb.
I remember thinking that like there was this stupid part of me as a kid, because obviously like the Doctor was gonna he was gonna die at the end of this season. I remember hearing that Confidential was ending, and this massive rumor went around saying like, well, if Confidential's ending, that means the show's ending, because Matt's gonna die in the next episode. So we were like kind of like that, like, because Confidential was ending, that means like they wouldn't end it unless the show was gonna finish. So that's why. I
was gonna say, because I'm watching it on the Blu-rays, I went on the special features, and they had the trailers for part 1 and 2, so I watched both of those trailers the other day, and fuck me, they are serious hype. Those trailers like make this season look so good, and then it's just so shit in reality, like so bad.
That's the magic of trailers,
the season set out to do a lot, and just didn't work out the way they intended it, I don't think.
Yeah. There's so many different plot threads that are like going on, and you need to try and remember them all, but they don't all happen at the same time. You know, like I don't know. It's weird. It's weird.
Yeah, it's odd. It's never liked it either when I first watched it, but
God Save Us next week, Connor.
Oh, I know. I might.
God help us.
I was gonna watch it after this, but I'm like, maybe not. I could watch that.
What time is it there?
It's like 8:13 p.m. right now.
Yeah.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, so I normally after the show I have like my dinner and I'll watch something, but I'm on the final season of The Sopranos, so I'm just loving that. So like, I'd much rather go and watch that, and I'll probably watch Wedding River Song with Daniel tomorrow after the public game.
I support your decision to watch Sopranos.
It's so good. It's so good.
I've never watched it. Sorry.
Stretch. Get there.
Get on it, Aidan.
Get on it. You're just so hooked.
I need to finish it.
Oh god, it's
Tony Soprano.
Just one of the best characters on TV ever. James Gandolfini.
Easily.
Bruh.
A legend.
Absolute. Just probably the best person I've ever seen on TV. Knocked it out of the park.
Wild.
So
have you seen the trailer for the film?
Yeah, it's there. We're actually getting it in our local cinema, which is really awesome. And the good thing is I would have finished it because it's like mid-September. So the good thing is I will have finished the show before then. So yeah, me and Daniel are already planning on. I was nice because Dan watched it with his girlfriend the first time, so I was like, you go with her first and watch it because you guys watch that together. But afterwards, you and me are going because I'm like really excited to see that. And yeah, I was a bit worried
it's going to be good, I think.
Yeah, I was a bit worried I wouldn't be able to see it in the cinema because I didn't know if I'd finish the show in time. But I've got maybe like 15 episodes left, so I already know how it ends. Unfortunately, I've known for years, but that hasn't stopped me. I've don't. Interesting.
I've not finished it yet, but
yeah.
I actually have managed to avoid it. But it's one of those shows that a lot of people have said like it's actually a finale that doesn't disappoint.
I've heard that.
Because when a show's so big,
Yeah.
that it's like Lost. I love Lost, but everyone shits on the Lost finale.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
It's like Game of Thrones as well.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, so if a show's so big, everyone tends to dislike the finale, and there's only like a few shows that actually do it justice, and I've always heard that Sopranos is one of them.
Yeah, it's more about the journey.
To go on a tangent.
Yeah,
Never seen
I
it.
think it's about the journey personally, but I've known a few things going into it, and it still hasn't affected my experience. I think I was like, I'm like one of the biggest Breaking Bad fans you'll ever find, but there's so many things in The Sopranos that Breaking Bad clearly copied. Well, not copied, but like took from and took inspiration from.
Yeah.
It's like
Interesting.
Breaking Bad would probably always be like the greatest TV show of all time, in my opinion. But like, Sopranos walked so Breaking Bad could run. That's the best way of putting it. Like, there's so many things in the show that you can tell, like Vince Gilligan took for Breaking Bad, but it's still as good as Breaking Bad's still as good as it.
You've piqued my interest with that, Connor. What's it streaming on? Is it Stan?
It's on Foxtel.
Oh
Now,
fuck
Foxtel
no!
Go. I've been using it for the last couple. I've had it for ages. I've had it since I got to watch Game of Thrones. But it's called Foxtel now. And
Yeah. No, I
really
I got rid of that
very
very quickly. I hate that streaming service.
I like it, quite frankly. Poor Vinny's
That's
like,
bad.
the fuck is Foxtel? It's so cool to hear different like streaming services in like the UK and stuff. And do you still have Sky over there? The Sky is that still a thing?
It is still a thing. We don't have it. Because there's no real need for it anymore.
Yeah.
Personally.
Foxtel for us is
got-
literally
I
Sky.
got-
Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but now
yeah.
it's like they've transformed it into a streaming service.
Streaming.
They still do
See, there
the
is-
normal bit, but yeah.
There is a streaming service like that called Now TV,
Oh.
which is what we have over here. So you can get a Now TV subscription, which is what I used to watch Sopranos on.
Right.
But then you can also watch like Sky movies and everything on it, and yeah. So
It's-
I suppose that's the.
I know, it's
the
so weird how
same
it kind of
thing
like
over here.
fits. Like, that's because we don't have like a what's it, HBO Now, what they have in America, like all the
Yeah,
HBO
we don't have
shows
that.
go through Foxtel. It's like, and then like, it's so weird how like who has the rights and stuff to certain TV shows. Like, it always interests me from like country to country how they deal with like certain things, like what some things would like air on Netflix weekly, but they would air on like a different streaming service for us here. It's just bonkers sometimes when you hear about all that kind of stuff, but it always
Yeah,
interests me.
definitely.
Sorry for going on that tangent, everybody. That's why it's called the 50%, baby.
That's right.
Let's go.
Talking about streaming.
Sorry,
go.
Aidan, for talking about Sopranos.
No, it's actually got me interested to watch it because for a while I've like known that I probably should watch it.
That's
and-
why
I
was
think
like,
it's
yeah.
widely considered to be one of the best shows ever made.
Yeah.
100%.
Like
So good.
widely.
I know, like, the only thing I know about it is that, and it's not a plot thing. Don't worry, Vinny. I literally can't spoil it. I know nothing. But all I know is like, is the last scene kind of a little open ended? Is that right, Connor? Like is that a thing?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'd say that.
That's cool.
I think I watched this like Watch Mojo video like 10 years ago, pretty much, where it's like top 10 most disappointing endings for a TV show, and it was like spoilers for all these TV shows. And whenever I watch something like that, I'm like, I'll never watch these shows. So I watched it, and I knew what happened, and I'm like, I'll never watch it. Don't worry, no issues there. And I get to a point later on in my life where I'm like, actually, I do want to watch this. So I do know how it ends, but I don't know. I know what happens. I don't know why it happens. So that's interesting. It'll be cool to see how that goes. And there's a lot of stuff I haven't known. And then when it does happen, it's like, it's unlike any TV show I've ever watched before. And like, the main performance by James Gandolfini is like, unlike any performance I've ever
Incredible.
seen before. And unfortunately, he passed away, which makes it even crazier because it's like, what else he would have done with his career? I believe he only did one movie afterwards. But I heard they shot for like 10 months a year, and the hours were insane. And like, you got to appreciate what it was. I think I'm trying to get my parents to watch it because they need a new TV show. And I'm telling everyone now to watch it. I'm like, watch this. It's so good. You'll be hooked.
It's very well made.
Oh,
and
so good.
Gandolfini is phenomenal in it.
He's just so
and
good.
the rest of the cast are amazing as well.
Yeah, it's very good.
To me, because I like I'll stop the tangents.
That's alright.
I like the whole gangster movie stuff. So like at uni, I did my dissertation on Martin Scorsese films.
Nice.
And like Goodfellas in particular, brilliant film. And that's why I liked The Sopranos. But what I liked a lot about it was that you see Tony Soprano going to therapy and dealing with his issues because he's struggling, and it just balances it so well. And it's just that creates like something completely different and new for the time. And I just don't think it's aged very well as well. Like it's just a great show.
You're right.
When did it come out?
It's like it literally like before
late 90s.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Yeah, like no one before this show like had a protagonist who was bad who you could actually care for. Like everyone now looks at like Breaking Bad and goes like Walter White's a character that you can sympathize for, but also does really shitty stuff. Before The Sopranos, there wasn't anything like that, and there wasn't open conversations about therapy. It's very much about being a man, but also like your feelings. Like he has like panic attacks and anxiety. Like that's how the first episode starts. It's like he has to go to therapy because he keeps having panic attacks. Like it's just the way they handle that stuff, but also like he's this like mobster is very, very, very interesting, and I'm so glad I started it. I don't want it to end because I love it that much. Like I it's like the one time I get to myself. Not just with my friends or my lovely girlfriend or my family, but like it's the one time I get to myself where I can sit down and just be with myself, and I've loved that time. Just watching it for the first time. It's been so yeah. Thanks for Daniel for convincing me to watch it because he watched it first and he's like it's great, and he was totally right. Couldn't recommend it enough.
Banging.
Anyway, sorry folks. Sorry folks. Better get on with it. Better get this shit out.
Better get back to Gareth Roberts. Woo!
Oh,
You guys are never going to have me on the show again, what with all these tangents.
No, this is what we do. The amount of times that me and Connor are talking about something and then we like pause for a second, we go, anyways, and we go back into it. It's like all the time. So
I like the scene where Matt Smith is talking about dying.
Which one? He kind of moans about it a lot.
Okay. No, sorry, that's such a shit. That's such a cringe way to come back. Alright, fine. 2 cents. I like the scene where the doctor mentions that he's going to die to Craig and then Craig falls asleep. I thought that was sweet. And he goes to leave and he's like, nah, fuck it. I'm going to go and save the world. And Craig wakes up and puts on a bamboos and runs into the shop. And, but it's just like, there's no stake. Like, what the hell's going on? Like, it's like, I'm going to go stop the Cybermen. It's like, no one cares. Like,
the sad Matt scene is like kind of ruined because of just like every time you'd see a trailer for Series 6, it would be like Matt just going, my time is running out. Like just every time. Yeah.
Good line though. But yeah, and then I guess like the episode gets saved by like they defeat the Cybermen by love because they're like, we can't convert the Doctor, but we can convert this human that is James Corden.
It's so bad.
Both of Corden's episodes are saved by love.
Yes.
Both of them.
Stupid.
Both of them.
The thing is, though, the Lodger is okay because, you know, it's a one-off monster. This is like the Cybermen.
Yeah.
And it feels like a Monster of the Week filler episode.
Oh, God, yeah.
And it's just, it does them so dirty because, like, for me, they were so terrifying as a kid, especially in Series 2. And, like, in this episode, I'm just like, this is shit. They're not threatening at all. I could literally push one over. Like, that's how I feel about them now. Because it's like, if you were, like, getting converted, that's it. You're fucking dead. Like, no feelings,
Godsky.
nothing. But somehow love conquers all, and it's like, this is
It really
bollocks.
doesn't help that it's clearly just like a picture of a Cyberman head closing in around his face.
Yeah.
Like, it's so bad.
Oh god, it's awful.
It looks horrendous.
Can you believe it? A Cyberman episode that's a one-parter that's written by Gareth Roberts and stars James Corden. Like, what the hell is going on? Like, this is odd. Like, this is just, it was doomed to fail. I'm sorry, but it just was. Like, the hell.
You know what else I picked up on? Was that all of this like entire climax happened and it was all resolved 35 minutes into the episode. So there's like 10 minutes after the episode of just the Doctor being like, I'm going to die, and then talking to kids.
I'm going to die. Yeah.
It's fucking. What did you guys think of the kids being like, I was 13 years old when I met him. I thought he looked sad.
It's the one. It's the one at the end where she's like, I like his hat.
Dude,
It's
literally,
so stupid.
Before that scene came on, I literally turned down. I was like, I like his hat. I liked his hat. And he was like, the fuck? And I was like, you'll see. It's so cringy.
Why is that the last, like, why is that the last one as well? Because the others are, like, recalling these nice, like, memories. Like, that was the best. I liked his hat.
I liked his hat.
Fucking
It's just
hell.
odd. James Corden gives him the hat from, like, one of his mates.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
He's like, and he takes the... I kind of like that, and I like how he takes the... He takes the blue envelope and the paper that you get to see in episode 1. It's like the same thing. Like the date, the time, the map, the reference for Lake Silencio and stuff. That's kind of cool. But it's like, why these 3 random kids suddenly had an interview and been archived and River songs looking...
Why would they
future.
remember? Why
It's
the fuck
odd,
would they
why?
remember this encounter?
You wouldn't. It's just so shit.
It's so bad.
It's awful.
The whole thing with River at the end, I hated as well.
Same.
Like, it was so... Like, that's why I say, like, this just feels like a Monster of the Week filler episode. Because the only bit that's really relevant in the whole thing is the bit with River at the end, I suppose. But it's stupid. Why is she... Like, I don't like it.
No.
It's so shit.
I don't mind River in Matt's run. She's much better than in series 4. But
Yeah, I agree.
Aidan's shaking his head.
Just my slight head shake. No.
It's just bad though. It's so rushed at the end. It's like Monica Varian rocks up with like 2 silence, and it's like time to go into the ocean. Time to go into the lake.
It's so rushed.
It's like,
but you can tell that they've done it just so they can like
connect the two,
sort
like,
things out.
Yeah.
Just
Why?
tie up some loose ends at the end of an episode.
And
'cause, the Doctor's done here.
There's that shit green screen as well of River just in. She's not even in a suit, is it? Like they have to green screen her
so
head
bad.
onto the suit. I think it's so bad.
Isn't it the whole like kid like going River kills the Doctor?
Yes.
the Night Terrace.
That
theme,
that's the only thing I didn't mind.
Yeah,
in that
I've always
whole
liked that
scene.
score.
Because that was like that was creepy. That's exactly what they wanted it to do. But the rest of that whole end bit with River, I was like, this is
so weird
awful.
because like the idea of like a big space archaeology university is fucking cool, right? Like that they should have done like an episode based around her, like when she's in her like uni years or whatever, like at the school. That's the setting's kind of creepy and I kind of like it, but nothing ever comes out of that, you know.
You don't get that. You get James Corden fighting Cybermen, which is exactly what we asked for.
And love.
Exactly what we asked for.
Sophie comes back.
Oh yeah, true. Oh yeah, Sophie came back briefly. It's just so shit. Why get rid of her? And that's
I forgot she was
Does
even in the
see
episode.
Doctor?
No, she doesn't. No.
Does she see? No.
Oh no, but doesn't
there's no
isn't that
reference.
cringy scene
There's
where
no
Alfie
relevance
goes, Doctor? He like says his name.
Oh.
Did
Alfie,
he?
little
I don't
baby.
remember that.
I swear he does. He goes like Doctor. He says his name. I was sent when I watched this, guys. You don't remember that? It does, I swear. The baby goes, Doctor.
Interesting.
I think it does.
It's so bad.
It's so weird.
It's all
What a
so
crap
bad.
episode. Crumbs. Oh,
So
Lord.
crumbs.
It's but it's
finally over.
fun.
It is.
It's fun.
It
That's
is.
what I hated about
It's
it.
it's one that I always return to just because it's one that I can have on in the background.
Yeah.
And I don't really need to pay attention to it because you don't need a lot of brain power to watch this episode.
Totally not. It's so like mind-numbingly just nothing. Like that's why
Yeah.
I think the first 20 minutes is like fun, and I can totally see why it's just like a go-to to just put on the background, have a bit of a laugh. But then like the moment they try and make a bit of a plot, it's just like, yeah, that's when for me I was like, what am I watching? Like I don't want to
Yeah.
watch this anymore.
Like, it's exactly that. Like, they try and make a plot, but by doing that, the episode sort of falls apart.
Yeah.
Nah,
And
totally.
it's
Dog
weird.
shit.
I would much prefer an episode of just having Matt's doctor just working in a store, being like a bit of like an investigator. Like,
Yeah.
but not obviously like that would have to like come to something. But I'd be more than happy to just watch an episode of him just sort of like plotting about, like seeing what's going on. Even
Yeah.
if it wasn't anything, but he's just trying to make it into
Yeah, it's
something
kind of like what they
because
try
he's
to go
putting
for,
off.
I think.
Yeah.
But never really like stuck with it. That part was fun and cool, but they just like dropped it. It was like, here's the Cybermen just up to no good, and that's it.
The Cyberman reveal was so bad as well.
So
Oh
shit.
Like-
no!
How?
They literally just like showed them, and I was like, they just showed them walking. I was like, this is shit.
So
Like
bad.
they're supposed to be terrifying, and they're just walking.
The other thing,
There was no tension was built at all.
there's no,
Which I
yeah,
think like
no
the
stakes at all.
Cybermen episodes are always good at that. They're always good at building tension, but this one wasn't.
None of that. None of this. Yeah, there's no. It ends, and you're like, was I supposed to feel any form of stress for Craig in that moment?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Actually none.
What made me really fucking laugh was like the way that the Cybermen have been going up into the store. The doctor like opens the mirror, and it's like is that how they were coming up through that hole, or were
Yeah,
they
I think
teleporting
so,
up?
Yeah. Kind of. They're just walking up, I think.
That's so like this was a hole that was like vertical. Like the doctor
Yeah.
slid down this hole, and the Cybermen are these big fucking bulky ass things. Were they like
They just go.
climbing their way through that hole? Like what?
Maybe
There's
they
so
came through the
big.
lift.
Yeah, that's what I
think
just
it's-
realized then. But,
Yeah, I think it's
But then
the
why
lift
is there
and
a hole there?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
that's true.
I think it's both. I think they can go through both. But yeah,
so
points and
dumb.
stands is just weird. Odd episode.
That's so dumb. Maybe the
There's only
hole was
one
how the
more Gareth
Cybermats were
Roberts.
coming up. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe
Is there
like a little mouse hole.
little
Yeah.
mouse hole? Yeah. Is there only one more episode, Gareth Roberts episode left, and that's the Caretaker? Because he doesn't do one for season 7, does he? From my
Yeah, I think
Did
you're
the
right.
Caretaker.
He did
Yeah.
the Caretaker, yeah. And then he had an argue with Peter Capaldi, and then he got fired.
Really?
Yeah.
Him
Well,
and
he didn't
Peter
get invited back.
Why?
I don't remember why, but I think there was like script problems or something, and
I remember
Pete got a
it
bit
being
upset.
to do with Peter not liking how Gareth was portraying the Doctor and disagreeing with it, and then Gareth was like, "Too fucking bad, my script," and then
I
Pete
wrote
was
it,
like,
yeah.
"Fuck you, my show," and didn't come back.
He didn't come back.
That's mad.
Yeah.
'Cause I always liked the Caretaker episode.
Yeah,
It's
me
I think
too.
Gareth's strongest from memory. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hate to admit it, but I actually do really like that episode. I have a lot of nostalgia for it, and I think it's just fun.
I like
Mm.
I like when he's running. I just like it. I like any episode where the Doctor's just prattling about, like
Yeah.
trying to act normal.
At normal, yeah.
But clearly isn't normal.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's one of my favorite things about the shows, and I don't think any episode does that bad. Like when he's trying to be normal but very clearly isn't. It's
yeah.
even in like David's episode when he's a teacher in school reunion.
Mm.
Like he's trying to fit in, but
Yeah.
he's also not fitting in at all. And I
Totally.
love that. I love
Yeah.
those
Funny.
episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we move on to Australia's favourite segment, I just want to chime in because you guys were saying how much you love the shop setting, and I dig it. I think like somehow it kind of looks visually interesting for like what would usually be a bland setting. It looks good,
Yeah.
but they really other than having scenes where people talk there, it's not in the plot at all. Like, they're just there. Like, there's nothing.
Yeah.
They could have worked it in, like, way more interesting. Like, you know, if it was an Auton episode or something, the dummies in the shop would make the shop relevant. But the shop becomes so irrelevant to what's actually happening.
It's a place where people could be, like...
Yeah. It's all they could get in the budget.
It would even be better if it was, like, an Auton episode. Because that would be, like, a cool villain to return.
Yeah.
And the whole department store. But I don't know if that would feel too similar to Rose. But...
Maybe.
I don't know. Little plastic mats running around.
Auto mats.
Nice. Yeah.
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 I don't know. It's just, I feel like the Cybermen were wasted. Especially in the department store. It doesn't make any sense.
So bad.
Yeah,
they look out of place as well.
Really
and I think they get away with... Okay, you know... I don't know if you know this, Vinny, but Russell, back in the day, said they shot Doctor Who just on standard definition because they never thought that it would need to be like remastered for HD, and so certain cosmetics and stuff like that they didn't actually put a lot of effort into because they were like, you're not going to be able to fully tell if it looks a little bit plasticky and stuff like that. And I think these Cybermen, they look good in the Russell era when stuff's like, you know, the filmmaking isn't necessarily as good. Like the lighting's a bit shit here and there, and like they fit well into that. But now that they've brought them into this like really HD, like the colors popping, like it all, Doctor Who looks pretty nice at this point in the show. They just don't look right in the way the show is at this point. I don't know.
No, I'd agree with you. I think that in like the Russell era, they do work with that look of the show, but between Russell's handover to Moff, the show is so different. It's like a completely new show, which is obviously what they were going for, but everything about it is different. And I think that's why like they initially tried to do the Daleks different and have them all colourful and stuff.
Skittles.
Yeah.
But shit. But
Yeah,
it feels weird that they didn't do that with the Cybermen. They just kept them looking exactly the same.
that's a good point. Yeah.
But everything else they tried to change, like they changed the TARDIS, they changed the Daleks, like everything's different.
Not till what? Nightmare in Silver? Did they get like a bit of an upgrade? That's like Matt's third season.
Yeah,
well.
when they become Iron Men.
They really
Vinny, you're forgetting. They did change the Cybermen. They got rid of the C. Wow.
Oh yeah.
So impressive.
Did they?
Yeah, it's just like a blank spot now.
True. Because they're not Lumix technically, isn't
that
right?
They're not branded.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they're not branded. Yeah, because they're not Lumix. They're like technically Mondas Cybermen, which is just ridiculous.
It's bizarre. All right, Australia's favourite segment. Everybody,
God,
it's time for Goof of the Week. Woo! Crazy. Do you guys have any goofs of this week? Any silly little production errors?
Yes, I do.
You do? Go on.
Finally. In the opening scene, in the I'm sure you guys noticed this by the way, but in the opening scene when that woman goes down the changing aisle, you can see a Cyberman's legs in the shadow, and it like moves, but it doesn't make the classic Cyberman like.
I never noticed that. No.
Sound. Really?
No.
I didn't spot that.
Really? Oh wow! It like moved. I was like, "That's going for the weight, Daniel. Don't make me forget it." It like it moves in the shadow, and it like clearly would make a noise like it always. Because the Cybermen are like notoriously like Russell's Cybermen are like notoriously hell like loud. But yeah, it didn't make a noise, but I'm sure that will come up on TARDIS Wiki. But that's all I've got.
Yeah, you'll be surprised. Anything from you, Vinny?
No, I didn't spot anything. I think I was just so focused on the in-depth story.
Of course.
Yeah, no, I didn't pick up on anything either. I guess maybe that hole in the wall that I was talking about where it doesn't make sense for the Cybermen to climb up the hole, but it's not really a goof, it's just a dumb decision.
Yeah.
This is got to be the craziest TARDIS Wiki part of the show we've ever done. Ready?
How so?
Well, because let me list off all of the goofs of the week for you.
Wow.
To be added. That's all it says.
Wait, what? Are you
I've got
serious?
nothing. I've got nothing for you. It's perfect. There's no mistakes.
I thought you were gonna like give us this massive ass list of like shit.
No, there's
nothing.
Fuck all, mate.
Okay.
No.
Thank God I had one at least.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Otherwise, there'd be no point even doing the segment.
Oh my God.
Shall we move on to Australia's second favourite segment?
Let's do it.
It's time for Behind the Scenes. All right, so
I just realised I dance, but no one can see that. So
yeah, it's really
I
sad.
do that shit all the time.
It's sad when we do that kind of shit, like when we talk about like visual stuff, and then we're like, this is so irrelevant to literally everyone that's listening. But,
Like me moving in my chair. Everyone can see. Oh God.
So here's something that I just did not get. Like I know it makes sense because in the first Impossible Astronaut, there's like that 200-year time jump. So what I never got about this episode until reading this was that this is set 200 years after the God Complex. There is no indication at all that there has been 200 years.
Really?
Yeah, like there should have been a change in Matt's performance, or just like
what?
Even like start it with a cool montage of the Doctor like traveling, maybe doing his farewell tour or something. There's nothing.
Are you serious?
Fact. Because it makes sense, because he's still with Amy and Rory in the God Complex, and then somehow between the God Complex and the wedding of River Song, 200 years have to pass, and then obviously this is just right before the wedding of River Song. So 200 years pass between those episodes.
That is ridiculous.
Dog shit. It's dog shit. That's
Ridiculous.
what it is.
just sounds a bit messy.
It's very messy. Moffat, I think, was very drunk on wine, I think, when he's writing this
Love his
episode.
wine.
That's how I like to think he writes, just with a good glass of red, just getting crazy.
Bit of red. Yeah.
So this is the first story to feature a Cybermat since Revenge of the Cybermen, which is in Tom Baker's first season. So what's that, like 1970? I want to say 74 or 75.
Yeah,
I think.
The dates.
Yeah. So long time ago.
Yeah.
Long time ago.
Someone fact check Aidan.
Someone fact check me and then tell me I'm wrong.
Someone tweet Aidan.
And the only other real behind the scenes fact is, so this is the only episode to feature a scene with River in that's not written by Stephen Moffat. Although
I was going to ask for that.
Although Stephen Moffat wrote the scene, so it's kind of null and void.
Okay.
He gets an uncredited. He uncredited wrote the scene.
Oh.
Yeah,
Does he write every episode that River's in then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Because she's always,
He does.
not always, but for most of the time she's only in like the premieres and the finals. But then, like, because they do mid-season finals, he writes those as well, which she's in, except for the Weeping Angel one. That's the only exception, I think.
Oh yeah, true.
But he still writes that.
What, in series 5?
Yeah, because that's just like in the middle of the season. But he still writes it, but it's not a premiere or finale that she's in. Yeah, that's it. That's fucking it for behind the scenes. What a shit episode. There's just nothing to...
Juicy Gareth.
I'm glad we've had Vinny on, because if not, this episode will be like 30 minutes long.
I'm going to get Insta up.
Yeah, I'm getting Twitter up. It's time for Australia's third favourite segment. What's the segment called, Vinny?
Just Twitter ting.
Woo! Yeah, baby!
Yeah, boy. Let's bring in them.
I nearly said behind the scenes then.
Behind the scenes.
Let's do it again.
You really want to live through all that again? That was such a fun segment. Okay, so I said closing time, the second last episode of the Mix Series 6. What are your thoughts? I'll read Vinny's review again, even though she's already given us our thoughts. Vinny didn't
think I'd make it on the show.
Yeah, we weren't sure up until the last second that Vinny was going to come on. So she handed us a great review saying, I actually like this ep with the I'm going to do this emoji, although no one can see me doing it, so it's kind of...
The shoulder shrug emoji.
Yes, that's a good explanation. I think it's much better than the first with Craig. Yeah, the story isn't great, but it's fun, and I like the whole department store aspect. Just always one I seem to return to from season 6, and there's not many of them. I think that's pretty relevant. That's what you said in the episode, so you're not a faker?
Yeah, I feel... Yeah, I don't think my opinion's changed since I wrote that, so that's good.
Since 2 days ago.
But I have rewatched it since then, so it could have.
True.
Yeah, fair.
Dylan says, this episode isn't great. For one, it has James Corden, and that's never a good thing. It's nice to see Matt do some comedy bits again, and they somehow made the baby funnier than the comedian that is Smithy from Gavin and Stacey. The Cybermen feel like an afterthought, and I'm not a big fan of Love Conquers All, but hey, what can you do? Oh, and haha, Doctor Who and James Corden are lovers is not as funny as the writer thinks it is. I agree. And then, I don't know why this was relevant. Oh no, it was relevant because the actor. Dylan goes, finally, I just wanted to ask if you guys ever watched Come Outside as children. It was a show that aired on CBBCs during the 2000s and stars Linda Barron, who appears in the episode, which she does, and she was good in the episode.
She's great in the episode.
Yeah.
That TV show with the colourful dotted plane. I don't remember...
Did you guys watch that?
Yeah, I don't really remember what it's
didn't.
about, but I remember that plane and watching it.
I think everyone around our age, like in the UK, has seen that show. Like, it's a very big show for kids to watch, and I noted down that she was in that in Closing Time, because she's also in like Open All Hours, and she's quite like a famous like actor. Well, she's not like massive, but you know, like she's in a lot of like British TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice that she's in it.
Yeah, it's a nice little treat. Although she doesn't really do much, but I don't think she kind of needed to. Like, it was just one of those nice kind of, not just a cameo role, like a little more than that, but it was just one of those nice sort of roles that she wasn't too involved in the story.
Yeah.
She was just a fun addition, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
And Connor said, Cybermon funny. That's Connor's review on Twitter. Thanks, Con. Appreciate it.
No worries. That should just been my review for this episode.
What's happening over on Insta?
Well, Connor's been very shit with Instagram this week. If it wasn't for Jacob sending through a review every week, bless his heart, I haven't even like posted the new episode or like put anything on my story. I'm sorry, I'm an awful person.
You're a pain.
Anyway, I know. Sorry, Aidan. Anyway, Jacob said Closing Time review. This episode is stupid but decent. That's a good way of putting it. The Cybermen are alright, and the ending with the power of love whilst being cheesy is okay, as it fits with the emotions harming the Cybermen. It's just an... Oh, I can't speak. It's just an offensive episode that is easy skippable. Sorry if I said that wrong. 6 out of 10. So the question is, if you were showrunner and you were forced to put James Corden character in your series, what would you do with him? Oh, no.
I know exactly what I would do.
Would you kill him off?
I would, yeah. He'd be the death before the title sequence.
I don't know. I mean, maybe have him like do the late show.
You could do a funny thing like
in movies.
You know the film Yesterday? How there's like a little...
Yesterday, like they just have him, which I don't know. It's so unnecessary that he's in that movie.
Yeah.
I say this all the time. I'm going to say it one more time. I'm a huge Craig Ferguson fan, who is the person that James Corden took over on the Late Late Show. So I do like James Corden because, again, I love Gavin Stacey, and he co-writes that with Ruth Jones. So like, I've got to respect him for that point. But as like a huge Craig Ferguson fan, and see how great he was as a late night host, and then see what James Corden. But look, most late night hosts are that kind of like, you know, family friendly. Like the ones that I like Conan O'Brien and stuff, like they're not really like that. So anyway, rant over. So I feel like I keep tangenting on tonight about a load of shit probably no one cares about. Sorry. I'll stop. But that's it from me.
We care.
Thank you, Vinny. So Vinny, when are you going to come visit Perth, Australia?
When the government let me.
That's a good point.
Once I can, I will
really
come over. I feel like you two don't expect me to actually come over, and then I will be over.
but the thing is, Perth, I don't know how well, because I know when I was in England, bearing in mind I was 6, I knew nothing about the geography of Australia. But Perth is like fucking the other side. It's a 5-hour plane ride to get to like the rest of Australia from where Perth is.
It's so good though. Perth rocks.
I don't see what your point is here, Aidan.
I'm still coming.
I love it. I like it.
My buddies are in Perth.
Yeah.
Banging. Ka-chow.
It's
like
definitely visit like other places, but 100% come to Perth. Like, I think it's great. I think it gets a lot more shit than it needs. I think like as well, like we need to start clarifying it's Perth, Australia, because there is a Perth in Scotland, and I think we mostly have British viewers. So I feel like sometimes Aidan we're like, and in Perth today, and they're probably just like, they don't really sound very Scottish. Because I swear, if you're in England, you probably think Perth, Scotland.
Maybe,
So to clarify, it's Perth, Australia. We have koala bears and kangaroos and sharks and spiders that will kill you.
I do want to see the koalas, because they are like one of my favourite animals.
Yeah,
But
cool.
I do have beef with spiders.
Oh no, I fucking
As
hate
in-
spiders. Honestly,
It's
Spiders in the UK bite me, and I have to go to hospital. That's happened to me twice.
shit.
Wow.
And so, if I come to Oz, I will probably die.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not as bad as they make it out.
Yeah.
Unless
I
you
feel
go
like
into the outback.
people think that, but it's still not as
Yeah.
bad as probably. We've had a few shark attacks in Aidan and I's local area. We've had, I think, since I've lived in this area, there's been, I think, 2 or 3 shark attacks, which has always like really shocked the community. It's been quite local. That's always been really sad, and there's always like people getting bitten by snakes and shit. Spiders you don't really hear much about, but I'm sure there are a few.
Yeah.
It's like normally dogs and stuff, bless them, who get like bitten by snakes and spiders, because they will go like in the leaves and like around like old bits of wood, like some firewood that's been left in this to outside in like the summer. That's mostly where like snakes would hang out because it's cool. But yeah,
I tell you what, the only time I've been terrified by an Australian animal was when I did a road trip with my mates like 2-3 years ago up north, and we like stopped off. We went all the way up the coast and stopped off like all these places, and then we went sort of inland for the last place called Karajini, and it's a place just full of like gorges and water, and it's just like it's beautiful. And the best day of my life was actually going there and like jumping off of a cliff into like the water underneath. Like it was fucking amazing. And we were there, and it was our last night, and we went to like sort of a barbecue area near the campsite, and we were cooking, and then someone was like, "Oh fuck, I left this in the car," and I was like, "All right, I'll go get it." And it was pitch black. And the whole way through us eating, we were eating our meal, and the whole way through eating, we could hear dingoes howling through the gorges, and it was just like echoing through, and I was like, that's a terrifying sound. Anyways, we realized we forgot something for cleaning up or something, and so I went to the car, and we were the only people around, just the 3 of us in like this pitch black area. We were just lit by like our phone torches and stuff. So I walked through this shrubbery that was like up to my nips, I guess, of like just high like grass, and there was a really thin path between that I was walking down to get to the car. And then I was hearing howling, and it literally just sounded like it was like around me, and I was fucking terrified. And then I like knew I was kind of near the car, but I didn't fully know where it was. So I hit the unlock button so I could see the indicators light up, and the indicators lit up, and it just illuminated the silhouette of a dingo right in front of the car. And I was like, "Fuck that!" I like ran. It was terrifying.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds terrifying.
It was.
Dingoes can be a bit vicious sometimes.
Yeah, they've attacked babies, which I'm not a baby, so I'm sure I'm fine. Although I suck.
Do you see them about?
Vicious.
No,
nah.
It's actually amazing how much like you just don't see a lot of the shit unless it's easy to find kangaroos. Like I see kangaroos all the time.
Mostly dead on the road, unfortunately.
Yes, but also out in
Sadly.
the wild.
Yeah.
But like on that trip up north, like I saw a massive emu with a bunch of baby emus following it in a line. That was fucking adorable. A whole bunch of snakes. Echidnas. Connor, have you ever seen an echidna in the wild?
Nah.
I saw so many just walking on the road.
Nah.
They're little bloody spiky boys just walking along.
Yeah, you don't really, unless you go like Aidan, like go like I went to a place called like Monkey Mire, like Shark Bay it's called. That's where you see, that's where I saw a lot of emus and stuff and a few sharks. But like unless you go into like the bush area, like near this place that we call the Strawberry Swing, like if you go like a place like that, you might see a snake briefly. I know we saw one once, Aidan, walking through that, if you remember. It like scuttled away. Like they're more scared of you. The chances of you getting bitten by one is pretty. Like you don't hear about your mate Bazza who got bitten by a snake last night. Like you don't hear like. It'd be really weird to be like, my mate got bitten by a snake. You'd be like, shit, that's pretty rare. Like you just don't hear that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, but it's easy to think that. I understand, like, because my family in England are like, oh, I can't believe you're out there. Like, is it like survival every day? Like
hunting for your food.
Hunting for your food.
I don't think it's like that. Just to clarify.
Yeah, no.
Some do though. Like my cousin, who's like a young kid, was like, you know, how do you get to school? I'm like, bro, I don't leave my house and there's like sand dunes. I had to ride a kangaroo to school. Like, we have pretty much everything you do, except there's a few things that want to kill you here and there.
With the not the most recent royal wedding, the one before that, is it William? Is he the other one?
Will and Kate.
Yeah, Will and Kate.
Yeah.
With their wedding, my mum's mum and dad sent over paper clippings from the newspaper because they thought we couldn't watch it because they thought we didn't have TVs. Like,
that's just so funny. Whenever you telling me that, I was like, bro,
it's the craziest shit, man.
Wow,
it's
that's mental.
Yeah,
definitely.
That's actually so funny.
That's the sad part about COVID because I know, like Aidan, I definitely want to go back to the UK. And I know people want to come back here. It's so sad about the whole. I mean, I've got my shots lined up, so hopefully we can start to get. Are you fully vaxxed yet, or have you got your vaxes done?
I've had one. My second is next month.
Okay.
And end of September.
Yeah, so hopefully we can all start getting those vax rolled out, and then we can start going to see each other again. But
it's tricky because my nan's quite sick at the moment, so we wanna, like, we don't know how. Like, well, we can't send anyone over to go spend time with her and stuff. And because she lives alone, it's a bit shitty for her. So yeah,
that's so bad. Like, it's just the worst part about it. It's like such a shitty situation to be in. Like, yeah, it's just so. As soon as it gets over, the better. Like the sooner the better. You know, I'm excited to start traveling. It's so weird that we're the generation that now has grown up that like can't travel in our like early 20s. Like we're like that generation. Like what if like we get to the point where like I want to like travel a little bit before I have kids. It's like your years are getting used up here. And they're burning up a little bit.
I was lucky because my first
weird
2 years out of school, in particular when I did that gap year in 2018, like I traveled a fuck ton. So like, whilst I still aren't done with that and I want to travel a lot more, I really sympathise with people that like haven't been out of Australia or haven't been out of the UK or whatever, you know, because that's tough. That's tough.
Well, I'm hoping once I can, if you guys will have me, I will come to Perth.
You're not allowed. You're not allowed.
Of course. That'd be great. We can take down a local.
Yeah, we can go for pints and we
have
can
a Swanee day.
Yeah.
And it'll be good fun. And I'm not saying that as like an empty plan. Like I fully intend to do that.
Hell yeah.
That car would be awesome.
No, that would be so exciting.
It'd be so nice. It'd be so nice.
And because with Perth, there is like, there's not like major attractions to go to. There's just like, it's fun to do shit like go for like a
Rottnest Island, bro.
Rottnest is like that's
Quokka.
cool. But there is like cool shit to do, like outside, outdoorsy shit. That's a lot of fun. But for us, like a lot of that stuff kind of becomes a little bit mundane, and it's only when you're like kind of showing people like Rottnest Island for the first time. Like I've been to Rottnest to Rotto so many times that like
Rotto.
It's just like I just know the layout of this whole island and stuff now. Whereas like, you know, some family friends literally like the month before the pandemic came over and spent a month with us in Perth, and they were about, I think, like a year older than me. So I like went out with them so much and just sort of showed them around Rotto. And it's just like, it makes the mundane so much more exciting. So, yeah, I look forward to it.
Yeah.
Awesome. So do I. Hopefully it'll be this side of the millennium.
I know, it's so weird. You don't know what to think. It's just, everything's so fucked up at the moment. So I really hope we can just get through this mess all together and have some better times coming up. You know,
we've gotten through it so far, so
yeah,
we can carry on.
It feels like so long though. It's only been 2 years.
Yeah,
it feels
that
like
is long though.
Ages.
It is.
I know.
And Australia's like a bit shit at the moment because you guys obviously got like really screwed over by COVID and stuff like that. And so your vaccine rollout has been like boom, 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 boom. Whereas in Australia, we were like, oh, we should probably get around to doing the vaccines. Okay, let's get a couple more out today. And now like they call it Fortress WA because Western Australia is just like our premier that just looks after WA is just like a king. Okay. And the moment there's any chance of like COVID coming over here, he's like, no one is fucking coming into this state.
Yeah.
And he's really good with that shit. And the entire just East Coast, everything other than Western Australia is fucked right now. Like it's really bad.
I keep seeing it, yeah.
Yeah, New South Wales got over 1,000 cases today. So it's really, really, and it's like unheard of for Australia. This is the first time that like anything like massive like that's happened. So I just feel so sorry for them over there. Like, and it's weird that it's in the same country where we have such freedom and have for pretty much the majority of the pandemic. We've only had like 3 lockdowns, Aidan?
3 lockdowns for like 4? 2 or 3 days. Like it's
they've not been that bad. Yeah, they really haven't been like that bad. Like
Vinny's so mad right now.
I just wanted to do
child's play.
Yeah, literally. I know, because I remember talking to you about it when we first started talking, which I think was December of last year. And the stuff you're telling me, I was like, man, that's just like, that is insane. I feel so sorry for you all. And my family, obviously, and Aidan's family as well, is all going through the same shit. Like, it's just bananas. Like, I can't believe it.
All right, let's wrap it up. Okay, Vinny, guest goes first. What is your final thoughts, your final score on closing time?
So my final thoughts, to summarise, are that for a Cyberman episode, it's poor. And like basically what I said earlier, like the season 2 episodes are some of my favourite episodes of the whole show. And this episode just feels like watching a comedy skit of it. Like, it's weird. Yeah. It's fun, but it just does the Cybermen a bit dirty.
Kind of feels like a really long comic relief episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty much, especially considering James Corden's in it.
Yeah.
Like, it's really odd. That's exactly what it feels like, basically.
Crazy.
Are we scoring still out of 10?
Yes.
Yeah, out of 10. Yeah.
My score out of 10, I will give it probably a 5.5.
Banging. That's a harsh first score from Vinny.
Ooh,
well, it's not a good episode.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Just because I'm trying to give it a score that's like fair. I'm not going to give it a 10 because it's not a fucking 10. But I don't want to give it a high score. But I do enjoy it. But I'm not going to let my enjoyment of it bump it up the fact that it's still a shit episode.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's hard to find that balance. Connor.
Yeah. So I think that's fair.
What do you reckon?
I second everything that Vinny said. Yeah, I totally agree. I only had fun in the first half, but I think the second half just really lost me. And it's such a weird... It's a Cybermen episode with James Corden in it. It's like just like the hell. Like, it sounded cool when I was a kid, but now rewatching it, I'm like, no thanks. But yeah, I'm going to go a little harsher than Vinny. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. I think it's just fine. It's nothing great. I'd be lying if I said I didn't have a bit of fun with it and enjoy a few scenes. So yeah, 5. I think 5's fair.
It's not hard to watch. It's just not a great episode.
Yeah,
totally.
No,
I
agree.
totally agree. Yeah,
I think like for me, yeah, like we've all said, that first like 20-25 minutes is fun. And like I said earlier, for me, that's only really down to Matt, and then I can't remember his name, James Corden bouncing off of Matt. And then that's about it. I think the episode kind of looks nice in a few places, but then like it also looked really cheap in a lot of places and really shit. I just think the tone and the colors kind of look nice, but and there's just nothing. There's just really nothing. I like the Cybermat design, like I said, but beyond that, it's shite for me. I was gonna give it a 6. Talking about it, I realized it's really not worth a 6. And I kind of want to go lower than this, but I'm going to go with a 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're all sort of in the same...
Pretty much, yeah.
Same ballpark there.
Yeah. Definitely 2 5s and a 5.5.
No, I'm thinking the 5.5 is a bit generous now.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to keep it as is.
Okay. Connor, we're doing matchy-matchies for the last 2. We both did 9 for God Complex and both 5 for Closing Time.
For a good old Wedding River song. I was about to say, you've had a good episode of the podcast when like one of my AirPods dies, like my left one's completely gone. So that's how you know you've had a good episode on your hands when you've spoken a lot, because it's starting to die on me.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
No, it's been good because Dylan, when he first came on, like great guest. He's such a funny guy and just awesome to have on. But just like the episode was just cursed in the making. Like,
oh God.
I think
it was Curse of the Black Spot as well.
It was very cursed.
It was cursed.
Like he couldn't hear us for like 40 minutes, so me and Connor did like a pre-show whilst he was trying to figure it out, and then I think I wasn't monitoring how long we had left of the Zoom, so like now I'm kind of like, when we've got a couple of minutes left, I kind of jump in and I'm like, all right, I'll set up another Zoom call, but then with that one we'd just be talking and then Zoom would just shut off. And it would just be like mid-conversation. Just a bunch of shit like that. And I think my internet died at one point as well.
And also they announced a lockdown when we were on the Zoom, when we were filming the episode, and I got so depressed. I remember feeling like absolute shit throughout the whole episode. It was like, this is so, and it was literally the case was my local pub. So it was like so close to both of us. Yeah, it was like so close to both of us, and I was like, "We're fucked." And I was there, and I was like,
"I was there that
night
as well."
Got COVID. Oh, it was it was like cursed. It was like meant to. It was just meant to go to hell, that episode. Yeah. But no, Dylan's really sweet. Do you have an episode you want to come back on for season 7, Vinny? You can take your pick. That's if someone hasn't taken it already.
I am a big fan of season 7. So
sensational.
I like
Let
that.
me have a look at the episode list very
Season
quickly.
7 is...
It is a fun season.
It's fun because it's really not that great, but it's my favorite because it's just so fun.
Yeah, I think it's my favorite Matt season.
Yeah. Definitely. It's just a good time.
It's just a good time. It's so hype.
I like a lot of these episodes.
Ooh.
I love the Bells of St. John.
Mm-hmm.
Love the Bells of St. John.
Yeah, sister, preach it.
I like Name of the Doctor.
Yes, good.
I like... which one's that one? I don't... Hyde, that's a good one.
Hyde's
Spooky.
good.
Maybe... I don't know. Oh, I don't know. You'll have to let me think.
You can come back to us if you need to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Bells would be a good one.
Maybe Bells.
Yeah, I think that's good because me and you, Vinny, we like disagree on a lot of Who things, and
we do.
Yeah, but I think Bells is our friends. We are friends. Clarify. But Bells, we like mutually love that episode. I think so.
That is like, if me and Aidan were Venn diagrams, Bells St. John would be in the middle. and every other episode would be on the other side.
Oh, that's funny.
I don't think we'd agree on another episode.
No.
Maybe this one.
That's funny.
Yeah. True, actually, yeah.
That's 2 now. That's 2.
Yeah. No.
We'll get there.
We will.
Sensational.
I like it. Cool.
Awesome.
Vinny, do you want to plug yourself one last time?
Yeah, can do. Thanks for having me, guys.
No worries.
It's been great to have you. You've been a great guest.
Follow my music Instagram, Last Orders Music UK. Follow me on Spotify, stream Candy Floss. Listen to my podcast, It's on Random. Or not. Do whatever you want. I'm not going to tell you what to do. But I'd appreciate it if you did.
I like it. Well said.
It was. I'm going to sound like that guy now, but it was also nice to have another female guest. I'm going to sound like that guy now. I'm so woke.
Yeah. Well, because it's so much of just me and Connor just drinking beers and being like, oh, Doctor Who, so much of the time. It's nice to go outside of that little bubble, you know?
Yeah.
So it was
nice. Thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you for having me. It's been a long time coming.
It has.
Well, yeah, it certainly was, yeah.
It's been I remember I was at uni one time, and I think it was the first time, it must have been the first time you tweeted at us, I think. And you said I'm going to go do a workout and listen to the show or something like that. And I was just sat in a computer lab, and I was like, fuck yeah, someone's actually getting enjoyment out of the show. Wow, that's nice.
It, yeah.
You're
very sweet. You've always been very supportive, so we really, really appreciate it.
You have. It's been great.
Always. I like listening to people talk about Doctor Who, so I'm glad
it's
to
fun.
be
There's
a part
something fun
of it.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely.
It's good.
Cool.
Awesome.
Well, come at us on Twitter and Instagram. Connor might post something on there eventually. That's at 50doctor. Thanks, Connor.
It shows up here and there. I don't think the homework has shown up much in season 6, but it's still here.
It hasn't. It's such a mess.
We can duet.
Oh my god.
Hey!
Oh shit, true. That's something you have to witness now, Vinny. For the first time, you have to watch me and Connor awkwardly sing the outro.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
Let me get my ruler.
The worst is when we do it in person, and we kind of just have to sit there. When we're on the computer, I tend to just kind of look away half the time. But when we're in person, I kind of just feel obliged to just look Connor in the eyes and sing this song, and it's just...
Oh, it's so awkward.
It's really weird.
I got a ruler that I used to tap that says 50% Doctor Who podcast. I wrote it on there.
Nice.
It's memorabilia. So,
amazing.
Alright, you ready for this? I know
Vinny,
you're a musician, so get ready to have your socks knocked off. You're just going to love this.
I don't
this
know
is
what
gonna
key you're going to be singing in.
It changes every week.
Alright, you ready?
Let's do it.
Ready, Aidan?
Let's go.
Alright. And a 1, and a 2, and a skiddly diddly do.
It's
Aidan and Connor's podcast. They're
And
doing
Vinny's on it
Doctor
too.
Who reviews.
Doing Doctor Who reviews.